Hello, welcome to Gecko Tabletop Games. I'll show you today Welcome to the Dungeon. This is a 2 to 4 player game, and you just basically going into a dungeon and fighting monsters. Now, everybody, this is set up as a 4 player game. These reference cards are on each person, so 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the one character, the warrior. This will be the starting character you normally use when you first play. The one character, like I say, shared between all, but only one person will use him and go into the dungeon with him. Now, this character has numerous items with him. What we'll start off, as you can see below, is hit points are 3. So this warrior is a hit points 3, and he's got with him plate armor, which is also plus 5 hit points, and knight shield, which is plus 3 hit points. So if he goes into dungeon like he is, he'll have 11 hit points to take out whatever monsters are in there. Now also below here are 4 other items. We've got a holy grail, a dragon spear, a vorpal sword, and a torch. Now, each one of these items it helps the warrior go into the dungeon. This dragon spear, it defeats the dragon, so kills this dragon straight away without any hit points lost off the character. The holy grail, it defeats monsters with even number strength. The torch defeats monsters with strength 3 or less. And the vorpal sword defeats one monster that you choose before entering the dungeon. Now, all these items, if he went into a dungeon like this, he would probably succeed and get through a dungeon no problem. But it's not always the case. Now I'll explain how each turn works. Each player gets 3 choices. Either takes a monster card, looks at it, and decides to put it in the dungeon. Or he takes a monster card, looks at it, and decides to take it, not put it in the dungeon, put it to one side. Or he can pass. Now, if he passes, he's out of this round. He doesn't want to go into a dungeon. That's what a pass is. So, in the dungeon, there are 8 kinds of monsters. Now, on this reference card, as you can see, there's monsters with strength 1, monsters with strength 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 9. Now, monsters strength 1 to 5, there is 2 of that kind of monster. There's monster with strength 6 is only 1, 7 is 1, and 9 is 1. Now each kind of monster is different, so strength 1 is just a goblin, strength 2 is a skeleton, 3 is an orc, 4 is a vampire, 5 is a golem, 6 is death, 7 is a demon, and 9 is a dragon. Now as you can see, next to these monsters, they have symbols as well. These symbols represent what item they relate to with the character's weapons. So, as looking at the dragon, there's an item there that looks like this item here, which is the dragon spear. So it's a reference for you to help you relate to that monster with the item. So I'll start playing. Sorry. How to win the game? There's 2 ways of winning. There's either when you go through the dungeon and you go through it by defeating all the monsters, you get a success card. if you do this twice, you've won the game. The other way of winning is if you go through the dungeon and you fail and you get killed off in the dungeon, then that person will lose a life or a health or however you want to explain it. But yeah, he'll turn the card over, say that he didn't succeed and he's been damaged, and it turns to like a bloody red. So if all these don't make it, and again they go to dungeon and this fail again, they'll be out of the game. They'll be out of the game, and there'll be one person left, either damaged or undamaged, but he'll be still in the game and he would win. So that's the other way of winning. So what will happen first is, say if I'm player 1, I'll turn the first card over and I'll secretly look at it, but I'll show you what I'm saying. I can see it's a skeleton, strength 2, and I know from these two symbols that the torch and the Holy Grail are there. So I'll put them in the dungeon. I'm happy to put them in the dungeon. So player 2's turn. He'll look at it, see that it's a golem, strength 5. Now this symbol here doesn't match to any of these items because there are other characters to choose from later on, which I won't explain yet. I'll explain on another video. But the player 2 doesn't want to put this in the dungeon, so he puts it to one side. Now when you put a monster to one side, you'll lose. You have to choose an item to lose. So player 2 decides that he wants to lose the dragon spear. Takes that out, and now the character is only left with 5 items. So it makes the character weaker. So player 3 looks at it, because see it's a 6, but also knows that Holy Grail's there and knows that he'll successfully kill that monster if he enters the dungeon. Next, player 4 secretly looks at it, can see it's a 1, and happy to put it in the dungeon. Now back to player 1 again. Skeleton again, it's Holy Grail, happy to put that in there. Player 2 sees a 3, knows he can do it, but this player 2 is being a bit more cheekier and thinks that I'm going to hinder the other people, and he's going to instead of put that in just for fun, he's going to take that and put that to one side and decide to take away the Holy Grail. So if you remember from earlier on, there was I think it was Death, which was 6. I think they're chosen by player 3. That's in the dungeon now, and he knows he's lost the Holy Grail now, so he thinks that he's going to get a bit worried and won't make it. So player 3's turn decides to pass. So he's passed, he's not in this round now. So the rest of the people are wondering why he's passed. Maybe he knows something that nobody else does. So player 4 still decides, I'll carry on though, 'cause I'm not worried. But then he pulls out a devil, a demon maybe, yeah, demon. And 7's quite a high number. These 2 icons here represent 2 other items with other characters. So it doesn't affect this character here at all. But you can either take it out, take an item away, or put it in the dungeon. So he's going to act like it's a weak monster and just put it in the dungeon. Very worrying. Now player 1's turn again. He's a bit worried about player 3 passing, so he's going to pass as well. Now player 2 can see 2 other people's passing, and he's not going to be left in dungeon. Left to go in dungeon, so he passes. So now all 3 people have passed, and there's 1 left. Player 4 has to go into the dungeon. So these are the dungeon cards. He's got to defeat these monsters in here. So first of all, with a Vorpal sword, he has to name a monster before going to dungeon. So he knows that the demon's in there. So he'll say, my sword's going to defeat strength 7, the demon. So he starts to play, and he'll turn over the first one, And there you go, it is the demon. So that defeats that. Next card is a 2, and the torch gets rid of that skeleton. Now you can use a torch over and over again. It's just that with a sword, because you have to choose one monster, that's allocated to that, and there is only one. It does say on there, sorry, that you only defeat one monster, so you can only use that item once. That you can use many times. Next, a 1. So that's the torch got rid of him as well. So there's 2 cards left. Turn over, it's a 6. Now then, there is no Holy Grail. So that's gonna take hit points away from the character. So 6 taken away from 11 is 5, which means he has only 5 hit points left. So his last card now, if it's a 5 or more, he will be defeated. If it's less, then he's made it, and it is a 2, and also a 2. The torch scares it away. So he's successfully got through the dungeon with 5 hit points left, and he gets a success card. And that's at the end of the first round. So everyone is back in again. All the cards are put back into the draw pile and mixed into them. They're mixed up. They're put there. Oh, there's more, sorry. Concentrating. They're mixed up again. Okay, and now at the moment, player 4 is winning with 1 success. So the game continues again, and this will continue round after round until, like I said, somebody gets 2 success, or if player 4 didn't win and got killed off, then he would lose a life, and a second time, if he got killed off, he'd be out of the game. And if the other 3 people are out of the game and one's just standing, then they would win. I'll leave the rest for you guys to have fun with and explore and see how you enjoy it. Okay, thanks for watching. Okay, bye for now.